right, so today our topic is going to be lung disease and stress, including some stress management and some coping techniques. So I know each time, when my initial assessment and education with people, a lot of times they'll indicate that there is no, or they deny that they have any stress, in their life. But stress can mean a lot of different things. Every one of us faces some level of stress during the day-to-day life. Stress is just part of life. And any of that stress, things that can cause stress can be anywhere from, a loss of a pet, of a loved one, of a job, of anything. National disasters can cause increased stress. It can be, financial, or we can even get a little bit of stress, frustration from the daily news. All right, stress, again, occurs in some shape or form as part of our daily life. And there are different types of stress. There's good stress, which quickens your pulse, anticipation, excitement, which can be things coming up from an upcoming vacation or a visit to see family and friends. Or, of course, I know you're all thinking this, is come into pulmonary rehab and getting that exercise and visiting with your friends. Stress. So when we talk about stress, we're usually talking about psychological stress. Everyone feels stressed at times. But there's a difference between short-term, or acute stress and the long-term or chronic stress. Acute stress being that triggers the fight or flight, that triggers your stress response, but can be happy and exciting, but not always happy and exciting, but not really harming the body, but short-lived, and and returns to normal quickly after the threat is gone. Chronic stress, on the other hand, is things that are repeatedly faced, seem inescapable, and can have a negative physical or emotional effects on health. So, we're going down the line there. We're going to talk a little bit about how lung disease affects, can affect the emotions. Chronic disease or disease equals chronic stress. And that may or may not be emotional, but, it's a chronic stress on your body. It's compensating for something. Many people, however, feel stress on a more continuous basis. So this chronic stress can affect the body in negative ways. Chronic stress can weaken the immune system. For example, people who are stressed often feel anxious, irritable, or depressed. Chronic stress may also cause more frequent flare-ups from your COPD or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease symptoms. So factors that can cause you to feel stress and anxiety. And everybody may have some different ones that will cause them stress and anxiety. But there are some things that I think each and every one of us will feel, that you can't do all the things that we used to do. Oh, I used to be able to, run up the stairs and go about with my business. Now when I have to go up the stairs, I have to stop and rest, or I get more short of breath, and it's hard to recover from that. You have to do things slower than you used to. You feel more tired, more fatigued. You have a hard time sleeping. There is also, shame or blame for having the lung disease. Feeling isolated because it's hard to get out, and it's harder for me to get out when I have to take this oxygen with me, or I just get so short of breath when I am moving around. Trouble breathing and shortness of breath can trigger stress and anxiety. On the other side, there's emotions and effects and the effects they have on the lung disease. Stress and anxiety is also a trigger for shortness of breath. Being anxious tightens the muscles that help us breathe, and this increases your body's want to start breathing faster, using more of those upper respiratory muscles that also use more oxygen and more energy. Okay, and so here this can bring us into some of this downward panic circle. We become stressed, which, like I said, that tightens up some of those muscles, makes you breathe a little quicker, increases that shortness of breath, and then we get a little more anxious, and that increases that shortness of breath. Your breathing becomes a little bit faster, breathing muscles get tired, shortness of breath is increasing, and anxiety, again, is also increasing more, till we get to that panic spot, to where we feel like we can't hardly catch our breath. And ain't nobody got time for that. So what we're talking about today here, we're wanting to kind of try help breaking that dyspnea cycle. What we can do is kind of take control, be more aware of early signs of when we're getting short of breath, and use those pursed lip and diaphragm or deep breathing techniques. To pace yourself, when you're going out for a walk, don't start off, like you're doing a sprint, or just kind of start out slow, kind of pace yourself so you're not hurrying. When we tend to hurry, again, that's a time that we'll hold our breath a little bit more, again, making us more short of breath. With pacing yourself, you're also wanting to focus on your breathing with your activities, and this automatically kind of slows you down and keeps you at an even keel. This is also called energy conservation. And of course, exercise. Getting daily exercise and staying active helps handle more activity with less shortness of breath, and therefore less anxiety and stress. On a daily basis, our activity or lack of activity also tends to be, in different ways, can cause some more anxiety and stress. Our population as a whole is sedentary. When we add in that lung disease, you get that feeling that there is, that this increases my shortness of breath, or this makes me really tired, so I really don't want to do it. And as a whole, as humans, we do decide, okay, this makes me uncomfortable doing this activity, it makes me more short of breath, so I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to stay here and rest. So we increase our sit time, and our muscles, really kind of forget what they're supposed to be doing. They atrophy. And along with that, so with those muscles atrophying, when we do have to get up and do different activities, whether that's going to the kitchen to get something to eat, or whether that's going out to move the water in the yard, that just increases that oxygen and that energy necessary for us to get up and walk around. Mind activity. Also, the more sit time we have, the more sedentary, not really moving around time that we have, it increases that thought processes in that mind. And then when we start thinking about some of the things that we used to do but we can't do anymore, then that kind of starts heading us down that little bit more of a negative line there. And again, a little bit more on the inactivity and the increased mind and thought activity. Things that we start to think about, again, is what isn't done. I used to be able to breeze right through that, and I could do 5 or 6 different tasks in a day. Again, the shame being, blame that you're putting on yourself for having the lung disease. And also feeling isolated. That tends to increase and pronounce some of those thoughts and feelings in there. All right, so now we're going to get into a little bit of the relaxation techniques, some of the things that we can do to kind of relieve and help us through some of those stressful, whether they're acute or the chronic stress times. The first one here is active relaxation. And yes, you might think that that's an oxymoron, but isn't relaxation doing nothing? And if I'm active, how am I relaxing? But some of these active relaxation things are, going for a walk, doing little puzzle things, whether it's Sudoku, word puzzles, or actual piece puzzles. Some of those things will help keep that mind a little more active in positive ways. Just sitting outside in nature, enjoying nature, and being thankful for the nice weather that we have out today. Listening to music. And these are active relaxation things, meaning, it's kind of occupying your mind a little bit. Maybe doing some crafts, if you have a friend that you do crafts with, or reading a book. Keeps that mind active as well. Active relaxation is a concept, a choice, and a practice that leads to stress relief in a way that just lounging in front of the television can never do. And these activities need to be a priority in our lives. So active relaxation is kind of a hocus pocus focus thing. Mindful breathing is focusing on that breath. And to do this, anybody can do it anytime, anywhere. Kind of sit, get comfortable in a seated or laying down position, and inhaling a nice clean breath in through your nose and exhaling bad air through the pursed lips. And just continuing to think about that, inhaling the nice big clean breath and exhaling the bad air. And as we're doing that, we want you to continue doing that for maybe 5-10 minutes. And as you're doing that, if there are other thoughts or something that creep in to your thoughts, just again, refocus that into thinking that clean air in through your nose and filling up those lungs, and then exhaling that bad air. So just gently bringing your mind back to focusing on that breath. Again, hocus pocus focus. The word, it can be word repetition, like repeating a word or a short phrase just over and over. Either out loud or in your head. Repetition of one word or phrase kind of occupies that mind, keeps it going, or gets it refocused into a more positive, different mindset. That can be either just saying relax, 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 or as they use a lot of times in yoga, they use the om, om. That can also be, you can also use a phrase, which can be let it go, let it go, and just repeating that over and over. Or it can be something like smiles bring me joy, smiles bring me joy. Just kind of choose something that fits for you, and that can help refocus and relax that mind. Okay, again, with the hocus pocus focus, active relaxation, we can use body and muscle relaxation by progressively tensing each muscle group, starting from your toes up all the way to your head and your scalp, and then relaxing that to feel that relaxation. You can also use visualization. Uses the power of imagination to reduce anxiety and induce feelings of peace and calm. So lung disease and stress. For people living with chronic lung disease, understanding the connection between the disease and shortness of breath, the stress, anxiety, helps them to live a more active, stress-reduced, and relaxed life, which we're hoping to help everybody out there with. And that's all for today. Thank you.